And P2RS is also a building resilience project against food insecurity, food and nutrition insecurity. Naturally, one of the main subcomponents of the project is nutrition support. Of course, if you are fighting insecurity against food and nutrition, you also directly you have to support food nutrition. And we have different partners, but for this specific subcomponent, we are working with NANA as well as the National AIDS Secretariat around STIs and HIV and AIDS, and which we are implementing with the National AIDS Secretariat. We did encounter some challenges prior to signing this MOU, but Alhamdulillah, we have come this far to the point that we are now witnessing the validation of the draft communication strategy, which we are supposed to follow and implement by way of raising awareness. And the target here is the people that the project is supposed to benefit, but also the people that the project is working with. By this, I mean the stakeholders, also the project implementation staff. I record clearly when I discussed with Osman, the director of NAS, and he said, you know, when we talk about resilience, we cannot leave out HIV and AIDS. And I found a lot of sense in that. We are all vulnerable. You know, he took myself as an example. I spend a lot of hours outside my family, and most of us in project implementation. You know, be you a driver, you are vulnerable. And we are targeting people in the rural poor, you know, and we leave this, you know, urban area to the rural areas, and those poor farmers are supposed to become our victims by circumstances. So it's important that we raise awareness to sensitize ourselves, but also sensitize the beneficiaries of the project. So all stakeholders, because under P2RS alone, we have more than 15 to 20 partners that we are working with. So it's a whole consortium, if you like. So I just want to congratulate the National AIDS Secretariat on behalf of the project director and the entire management and staff of the project, and through him, the Ministry of Agriculture, who is the executing agency of this project. And we look forward to very fruitful and successful awareness across an activity in which you have, you know, unique strength. You think you are able to do. Come and, you know, engage the project, and we are very open in that regard. Thank you very much.
Efforts of the consultants, Mr. Diba and Mr. Jallo, who have worked tirelessly to see that the document is comprehensive enough to meet the objectives that it is intended. I also want to thank the Ministry of Agriculture, in particular the NEMA or P2RS project, for the support. Not only have they provided the financial support, but they've also had very useful input in making this document very, very useful. And I think, like Paul indicated, there are so many other opportunities ahead, and we look forward to strengthening this partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture in the interest of national development. Now, we've got a number of experts. What impresses me most here is the fact that you've got communication experts in the room, but we've also got a lot of technicians whose contribution will definitely go a long way in making the document better. It's in two phases, like Paul indicated. First, the first component is to develop a communication strategy on STI and HIV, but targeting the farming community. But not only the farming, you cannot target the farming community and leaving out those that work closely with the farming, that's the extension workers. That's phase one of it. The second phase is implementation of the strategy. And I want to fund in Paul, if I'm right. So the more we make the document better, the higher the chance we stand for more resource mobilization for this particular important I mean, agriculture, I stand to be corrected, but if not the biggest, but is one of the biggest employer in our sector, in our society, in the Gambia in particular. And it remains one of the major source of our GDP as a country. Now, which is why I told Paul during our negotiations that, look, you cannot build resilience among a sick population. Meaning, if you want to ensure resilience among the farming community, you must make sure that you take all the critical issues into account, such as raising awareness among the farming community on HIV and AIDS. And this is very, very, very critical. We are happy that the donors have given it priority, and we hope that it is going to be the beginning of a very fruitful partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture. Now, the idea is going to be, after its finalization, we hope to engage stakeholders at the regional level, which is why we have invited the regional AIDS coordinators and other partners at the level of the region. The RHT is here, so that during implementation, you don't have to wait for the National AIDS Secretariat to send people all over. We're going to engage stakeholders such as the Health, Education and Promotion Directorate. We have GRTS with us. I insisted that there are people who have to be part of. We have experts like Mr. Cham. So it's not going to be NAS doing the implementation. For us, our interest is to make sure that this particular project also covers something to do with awareness creation around HIV and AIDS. And we are happy that both the Ministry of Agriculture and donors have seen it as a priority. How it is going to be implemented is going to be a concerted effort. We want to engage each and every stakeholder to make sure that at least it achieves the desired impact. I want to thank you all for coming, and it is my fervent hope that we will all contribute to the process so that eventually we have a very good document. At this
component of any national response strategy is infection prevention. Infection prevention. Care and support is also an extremely important component in national AIDS prevention program. That prevention of infection with HIV and STIs, and cannot be really attained without communication. Engaging various partners in the projects and central government departments. This is kind of unique. And I think we should all urge other ministries, government departments to emulate this model partnership. Really, it's a model. Right? It's a model. And I hope it will continue. The strategy, like the director said, is in two main parts. Section 1 has a solution plan. That's a 6-month plan. The 6-month plan was derived from the 3-year strategy. Just for us to understand. Because the 6-month intervention is supported by P2RS project. Okay? But the